Over 3 million people run a half marathon every year around the world. And while that is a ton of people, that's less than 1% of all of the globe. So if you've run a half marathon before, or you're about to run a half marathon, you are a part of the 1%. I've personally run 13 half marathons with a personal best of 1 hour, 19 minutes. And I've also run 15 marathons with a personal best of 2 hours and 40 minutes. So in this video, I'm gonna go over some training tips and tricks that I've learned in my years of running experience to help you hit a new personal best at your next race. When it comes to half marathons, one of the most important aspects is your training plan. There are 3 core elements of any good training plan. The first core element of any good training plan is consistency. Are you consistently showing up, putting in the work, day after day, week after week? For most people running a half marathon, I would recommend running anywhere from 4 to 6 days per week. It's very important that you're building a good, strong base and foundation for your running fitness. So about 70 to 80% of your mileage should be easy miles. When I say easy miles, all that means is, can you have a conversation similar to this, breathing maybe a little bit harder while you're running? If you can't talk in full sentences like this, you're running too hard. It's okay to use the run-walk method if you have to, just make sure you're running at a truly easy pace. The second core element of half marathon training is speed work. These are the fun workouts. These are the ones that you get to open up your pace and really run hard and run fast. Usually running around your 5K, 10K, and half marathon pace. If you're a beginner, I would recommend doing speed work 1 day a week, and if you're more advanced or elite, hitting 2 speed workouts per week. I'll put some example workouts right here on the screen that you can do. These are the ones that I do all the time, and I'll also put a pace calculator down in the description where you can put in your goal half marathon pace, and then it'll tell you exactly which paces you should be running these speed workouts at. And the third element of any good half marathon training program is the long run. Obviously, the long run is your longest run of the week. I would always recommend, no matter what level you're at, doing 1 long run per week. For beginners, your long run is probably gonna start at 5 to 8 miles, and as you progress through the plan or you become more advanced, you can get up to 15, 16 miles for your long run. The whole point of long runs is not only to build endurance mentally and physically, but also use it as simulating race day. So we wanna be practicing nutrition. Are you gonna carry a water bottle? Are you gonna be taking gels? Hopefully you're taking gels. Testing out race day gear, shoes, watches. Use the long run as your practice for race day. While most of your long runs are gonna be at easy effort, it's also very important to incorporate your half marathon paces within your long runs, like we're about to show you in the next scene. Another key component of half marathons is speed workouts. And I am 12 days out from my next half marathon, the Boston Half Marathon on November 9th. And today I'm gonna be doing my last big speed workout / long run. We're gonna kind of combine them into one workout. So today we have 12 miles total. The workout is gonna be 6 miles, a little faster than easy pace, 4 miles at half marathon pace, and then a 2 mile easy cool down. So 12 miles total. My half marathon goal pace is gonna be about 5:50 per mile, which should put me about a 1:16 to 1:17 half marathon. My current personal best, which I haven't ran for a couple of years, is a 1:19.19. So anything faster than that on race day, I'll be happy with. It's a little bit hilly course out in Boston. So the route we picked today is a 2 mile loop, and it's a little hilly. It's also windy. It's also warm and very, very humid out this morning. So not great conditions, but perfect for training. So 12 miles, let's do this speed workout. Let's hit it.
Oh my God, pauses.
I don't know what I was gonna say. I had a stroke. Fuel for today's run. Before the run, I had 2 scoops of switchback electrolytes, so 2,000 milligrams of sodium. I had 2 scoops of X Endurance carb powder. I think that's like 30 or 40 grams of carbs. And then I had a pack of 2before blackcurrant powder. That stuff's great for dilating your blood vessels, helps with more blood flow. I had all that in about 24 ounces of water. And then I had a Go-Go Squeeze applesauce with a little fruit strip and a Honey Plus honey gel.
So all that ends up being about 300 or 400 calories, about 100 grams of carbs. And then during the run, I'm just gonna do one gel around mile 5, and that'll get me through the rest of this workout. This workout should only be about an hour and 20 minutes, which is right around the same time our half marathon will take. So this is perfect fueling practice for race day. All right, we are 5 miles into our warm-up, averaging about 6:48 per mile. One more easy mile, and then we'll have to step on the gas, try and hit 4 miles at half marathon pace. It's gonna be tough. Today's not a great day for a workout. Well, I take that back. It's always a great day for a workout. It's just gonna be a hard workout today. It's 70 degrees. The dew point is 69, which basically just means it's very, very humid. Essentially, we can run a little slower paces today and still get the same physiological benefits and adaptations that we want. So I'm just gonna kind of run it off the feel. I'm gonna aim for that 550 per mile for a goal half marathon pace, but it's windy, it's very humid, and we're on a hilly route. So I'm gonna take all those into consideration. I'll do what I can. Not making up excuses or anything. Those are just the facts. Best thing about today is like, race day is gonna feel so much easier after this. Make your training hard, and race day just gets that much easier. So that's how today's gonna be. Ah. Oh. Ah. Bro. These conditions are brutal. And this route, uphill, into the wind every time. That was a good push. 4 mile section, average 5:58. I am gonna guess the pace conversion is like 10 to 15 seconds, just based on how that felt. So, I could just feel it in my effort. And the main uphill section is all into a headwind. Brutal, absolutely brutal. But 5:58 in these conditions, I'll take it. That was from mile 6 to 10, so thinking of that like on marathon day or half marathon day, that's a good test run. Gonna be what it's like on race day, having to push when the legs are fried. So, whew, brutal day for a workout. But we did it, and we got 2 cool down miles. Fuck. That's why we do it. We do it because it's hard. We do it because we don't want to do it, but we do it anyways. All right, 2 mile cool down, and then we'll see you back at the truck and go over the stats. 12 miles done. That was hard. One of the harder workouts I've done in a while. I just put in the temperature, the dew point, the pace that I ran in this fancy calculator, and basically it came out my adjusted pace. I averaged 5:58 per mile. That's actually 5:45 per mile because of the conditions, the humidity. That's not even taking into account the hills, the wind. That's just temperature and humidity. So 13 seconds, that's very significant. You can put in your pace, your temperature, your dew point. You can also do your elevation if you live somewhere at altitude. And basically all of those different variables have a significant role on your paces. So you don't want to be running too fast because you're going to be just like killing your recovery and overexerting yourself. So you can run a little bit slower, get the same benefits out of the workout. So that's today's speed workout. Definitely a tough one, but glad we did it. we're better for it. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to be hard. That's why we do it. So that's the workout for today. We'll see you guys back at home. We'll go over the next tip to run your next half marathon. Before I give you the next tip on how to run a faster half marathon, I want to first tell you about the sponsor of this video, Vuori. Vuori is a performance apparel brand that makes high quality apparel that you can wear both while you're working out or in your casual day-to-day life. It's been getting colder out here in Austin, which means it is finally sweatpant weather. So I've been rocking the Sunday performance joggers from Vuori. They're so comfy. The quality of the material is so nice, so soft. There's tons of pockets. You got a zipper pocket on the side, 2 front pockets, and 2 butt zipper pockets. Literally so many pockets on these pants. This t-shirt is the Strato Tech Tee. I kid you not, I don't say this about any shirt. This is literally the most comfortable and softest t-shirt I've ever worn in my entire life. It's very, very lightweight. It's breathable. I could wear this when I'm going on errands, if I'm out on a date with Bree, or if I'm here working out in the gym. I love this shirt. It's super, super light. It fits great. And this is the Ponto Performance Crew made with what they call Dream Knit fabric. The material is so soft and it's stretchy, form-fitting, it's light, it's breathable. You can work out in this, you can run to the grocery store in this, you could take your girlfriend out on a date in this freaking thing. Yes, Vuori is a sponsor of this video, but I can genuinely say that this stuff is very high quality, very comfortable, and I am truly a big fan of it. So if you are looking to upgrade some of your apparel, I highly recommend checking out Vuori. I'll put a link down here you can click on and go check it out. Back to the video.
Now that we crushed that 12-mile run, I want to give you a little bit more info on nutrition and fueling for half marathons. So it all starts with the pre-run nutrition. So before speed workouts, long runs, and race day, this is general guidelines that I would recommend following. About 2 to 3 hours before your run, I would consume between 50 to 150 grams of carbs, about 400 to 600 calories. And obviously this is gonna totally depend on your height and weight and what your individual stomach can tolerate before a run. For me, I usually end up somewhere in the middle of this, about 100 grams of carbs and about 500 calories. That's just what I find works best for me. And as you guys can see from the workout we just did, I took a gel during the run because it is extremely important for a half or full marathon or anything longer that you fuel during the run. So these are the general guidelines I would recommend following. This is per hour. Keep that in mind, per hour. That's very important for this. 40 to 100 grams of carbs. A lot of the new science and studies are showing that now the upper limit of carbs per hour that our bodies can adequately consume is at least 100 grams of carbs. Obviously, I would start around 40, see how your stomach tolerates it, and equating that to calories would be about 160 to 400 calories, again, per hour. Obviously, gels are the best way to fuel during a race. You can also do liquid calories in the form of a powdered carb mix if you're gonna carry a water bottle, but gels are usually just the easiest to carry and the simplest way to fuel during a race. Another key component of fueling and nutrition for half marathons that I think is overlooked way too often is hydration. Ensuring that you're properly hydrated before the race and during the race is key to performance. Not only can you increase your blood volume, but it also can help regulate your body temperature. You can actually decrease your body temperature during a race by sodium loading. Proper hydration maintains mental clarity and focus. It also helps prevent cramping and bonking, make sure your muscles are functioning properly. And properly being hydrated also helps your muscles absorb energy like carbohydrates. So pre-run, you can load up with about 500 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium with about 10 to 20 ounces of water. And then you can just follow that same rule during the race. So another 500 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium per hour with 10 to 20 ounces of water per hour. Post-run nutrition is just as important as pre and mid-run nutrition. So this is my typical breakfast. Because today's workout was so big, I've got a little bit extra here because I'm just extra hungry. But the main priority post-run should be carbs and protein. When it comes to protein, I aim to have 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for me, I'm about 165, 170 pounds. So I aim for about 165 to 170 grams of protein. Most days I exceed that. You really can't have too much protein. So here's what I have today. I have 2 tacos with 4 eggs and about half a pound of chicken breast. I've got a cup of beef bone broth. I've got an Oikos 000 Greek yogurt with 15 grams of protein. I have a homemade wellness shot with apple cider vinegar, ginger, lemon, and orange juice that Brie makes every week. Then I've got 3 mandarin oranges. I've got 2 kiwis. I've got a protein shake with milk and a scoop of protein powder. And then I've got a bunch of berries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. I won't eat all of these, but have a little bit of each. So this is a ton of protein. Also got a good amount of carbs here because carbs are gonna help hydrate our muscles, replenish the glycogen stores that we just depleted from that 12-mile run. So that's the breakfast. Make sure you do not neglect your post-run nutrition. It's very important for recovery. Get your protein, get your carbs. Don't be afraid to eat too much. It is time for our afternoon strength training session, which brings me to one of the most important parts of any good half marathon training plan, and that is strength training. I would argue that strength training is just as important as running when it comes to getting faster at running. Strength training helps prevent injuries, it helps build a more powerful and efficient stride, and it helps build muscular endurance. And because of that, I personally strength train 3 to 4 times a week, and I would strongly recommend that you do the same. So today, I'm gonna walk you through one of my lower body strength training sessions, and in the process, I'm gonna give you guys some tips and tricks on what I do to implement strength training into my running routine. The first point I wanna touch on when it comes to strength training is to lift heavy. A lot of runners think that because running is a very repetitive exercise, that your strength training should be the same. However, the science and studies currently tell us that lifting heavy is actually better for long distance running for a few reasons. First, it helps to build and maintain our fast twitch muscle fibers, which are the fibers that we use when we're running fast, we're sprinting, doing speed work, running uphill, kicking at the end of a race. Second, heavy lifting also improves our running economy, which is basically just how efficient we are as runners. And third, it just helps with overall force production of our muscles. Basically, how much power can we put out with less effort. For me personally, I absolutely love doing heavy deadlifts, but because we're only 12 days out from the half marathon, I'm now starting to taper everything down a little bit since our big workout this morning. I'm going to cut my weights in half. So I'm gonna take my normal reps, normal sets that I would do during a typical training week, but now that we're just less than 2 weeks out from the race, I'm gonna cut the weights in half. Then next week, the week of the race, I'm gonna do the same exact thing, but just do body weight. This just helps keep the nervous system active. You're going through your same routine, doing the same movements, but you're not putting nearly as much stress on your body by cutting the weights down from what you normally do. The second point I wanna touch on is all about single leg focused exercises. If you think about it, when we're running, we're never on both feet at the same time. Running itself is a single leg activity, basically just hopping foot to foot. So we wanna teach our bodies to be able to handle load on just one leg, one foot at a time, be able to balance, have stability and coordination while under load. Some of my favorite single leg exercises are Bulgarian split squats, just like these. I also love box step ups with the knee drive at the top, just to add some more stability and balance focus. And I also really like lunges. You can either go forwards or backwards. For most of my lower body strength training, I like to do 2 to 3 sets of anywhere from 4 up to 8 reps per leg. Just depends on the movement and depends on where I'm at in my training cycle. The third point I want to talk about is posterior chain. I focus heavily on my posterior chain with my lower body strength because the vast majority of running injuries come from the posterior chain, either glutes, hamstrings, or calves. Most runners tend to be quad dominant, so if we can shift some of that load and strength and put it into our posterior chain, it's gonna help a lot with running injuries.
So I love to do exercises like this, kettlebell swings. I also love doing these really slow and controlled RDLs, really feeling that stretch in the hamstring. And we can even do some classic calf raises to help strengthen the lower parts of our legs. The last exercise I'm gonna do today is some goblet squats. I love doing these on a slant board just because it helps me get a little bit deeper, help get more of that stretch in the squat. I know a lot of you guys are gonna be wondering how often should you do a lower body strength workout like this and what days of the week. I recommend, if you're newer to strength training, just start with 1 day a week. If you're a little bit more advanced, I feel like 2 days a week is more than enough. But I would always recommend to do your lower body strength training on the same day as either your speed workouts or your long runs. This just sticks to the old saying of keep your hard days hard, your easy days easy. We want to stack the hardest days of the week together, use the other days as easy recovery days. I know strength training can be intimidating, especially if you're newer to the fitness world or if you have only ever run or done endurance sports, but you've never ventured into the gym or the strength training side of fitness. So I know it can be a lot. I know it can be intimidating and stressful and maybe overwhelming. With that being said, you just have to embrace being a beginner at something. It's just like when you got into running for the first time. You don't know everything. You don't know exactly what you're doing. You just have to keep showing up. It's the same exact thing with lifting. You just got to show up, be patient, trust the process, understand that it's going to take some time to get better at it. Also, I think it helps to know why you're lifting, not only to run faster and be able to run farther, but strength training is so good for our overall health and well-being, our longevity. So if you're trying to live a long, healthy, and happy life, I think strength training should be a key component of that. So that is strength training. We'll see you guys back inside where I'll give you my final tips for how to run a faster half marathon.
It is dinner time and we just whipped up a couple of beautiful steaks from the one and only Frank's Butcher Shop. The best steak in the whole freaking world. I actually have a link with them down in the description if you want to go check it out. It is grass-fed, grass-finished, local, pasture-raised Wyoming beef. I grew up in Wyoming, just a few miles from where all of this beef comes from. It is so good. It tastes delicious. We eat this like 3 or 4 nights a week. We've also got a little bit of mushrooms here. But that is the video. That is how to run a faster half marathon. Hopefully you guys got some tips out of this. Make sure that you find and follow a well thought out training program with easy runs, speed workouts, long runs. Make sure you practice and implement good nutrition and fueling during all of your runs. And make sure that you are incorporating some strength training into your routine at least a few times per week. But we are only 12 days out from the Boston Half Marathon. Very, very excited to see what I can do on race day. As always, thank you guys for following along. Hopefully you got something out of this video, and hopefully you can go crush your next half marathon too. Thanks for watching.